on a day that's much cooler than it was yesterday. Only 29 degrees. You can see the your breath in the air. Wind chill 19, but the winds much less than yesterday. Yesterday it was cooking out of the north at about 30 miles an hour.
I would kind of think Morris would have liked to have a lot of wind today. They would have kind of played into their hands. And, of course, Montini, they prefer the kind of weather we have at this moment.
There you go. Look at Chris Andriano. 34 years, 255 career wins, I should say. And 4 state titles, 1 in 04 and the last 3 in a row. And there you get a good look at Alan Thorson, the Morris Redskins coach. Their tradition goes all the way back to the 1980 state championships in 1980, 1984, 2005. 9 state title game appearances for the Morris Redskins through the years. All right, we are set to kick off. Andrew Hart to kick it away for Montini. It's fielded at the 5 for Morris. That is Colin Grogan, takes it out to the 15, and he's brought down at the 17-yard line, and that's where the 12-1 Morris Redskins will start the day.
Montini would like to see them have a shorter field because Morris loves to run the clock and run the football, and of course, as long as they're doing that, Montini's heralded passing game can't get out on the field.
Senior Zach Cinnamon at quarterback. There you see his numbers for the season. He is a transfer from Streeter. What a change for him. He was 0-18 in his years at Streeter, 12-1 playing for a state championship game, here today. First give of the game is to Reese Sobel. Good run there on first down. And here's a look at our Buffalo Wild Wings starters for the Morris Redskins. And again, they come in 12-1. Perry, Grogan, Sobel, the running backs. Danny Friend at tight end. Anthony Munson, wide receiver for Morris. Up front, the big guys getting the work done. Claire, Lane, Miracle, Henry, Aldrich, and we mentioned Zach Cinnamon, number 15, 5'11", 175-pound senior. Second down and 2 for the Redskins. Sobel again met at the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss, actually. Buffalo Wild Wings defensive starters for the Montini Broncos. Coming into this ball game, 11-2. Ruano, Bogart, Thompson, and Kennedy up in the trenches for Montini. Linebackers, Maduco, Sanzeri, and Nitti. And the secondary, Maloney, Starback, Mucha, and Josh Belt. 3rd and 3 now. I formation. Sobel gets the carry again. He's got first down yardage and more to the 40. Out cross midfield, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
What a big run, getting them out of bad field position early here for Morris. Nice job. You can see at the point of attack, just a zone lead. Lineman locked on. The fullback gets out in front. He just doesn't have enough speed to get past that safety, but this is an outstanding play. It shows you why that they are such a great rushing team. They get body on body, and this is what they're going to be trying to do all afternoon here. What a way to start the game for Morris.
45-yard pickup for Reese Sobel, the 5'11", 175-pound senior. 1st and 10 from the 32.
Oh, it's on the ground.
Loose ball. Who's got it? Looks like Sobel might have it back.
Little anxious pulling out of center right there, trying to run the exact same play that got him down there. And Morris is very fortunate to get this back. You can see how he pulled out a little early, but they were able to get it back. This is a big play right here for Morris because they start out in their own territory in poor field position, but yet they get that big run. And right now they got Montini kind of reeling a little bit, and they have to go after him because when you got Montini on their heels, they better stay after him.
Broncos, a bit of a slow starting team this year. 2nd down and 13 now. Cinnamon the handoff to Sobel. He tries to bounce it outside. Steps it up to the 30, pickup of about 5 there.
Now, what was crucial there, Lee, was that first down bobble. Morris is the type of team that first down is so very, very important for them. They need to pick up 4 to 5 yards on first down each and every time that they have that situation. And, of course, on that very first play, they fumble the football, so that puts them in 2nd and 11, and that's not what they're used to.
Right. They want to be 3rd and 2 or 3,
exactly.
not 3rd and 8. Right. That's where they are here, 3rd and 8. About 3 minutes into our 5A state championship game. Montini and Morris. Morris on the move. Cinnamon back to throw.
Green.
Quick hit and just out of the reach of Anthony Monson.
That was just going to be a middle screen, and he was very fortunate that wasn't tipped into the hands of the linebackers from Montini. They dropped out rather quickly to get their depth in the linebacker drop, and he actually threw it over the head of the screen man. You can see it coming right at you. The center is supposed to be out in front of the back right there, which he isn't. He's very fortunate that the linebackers didn't pick that off. Well, now we'll see what happens.
Go for it on 4th down.
This is a very unusual formation for Morris to see them in the spread formation.
Cinnamon, the lefty, pulls it, takes it himself. He's going to be short. He's brought down at the 25-yard line, and Montini will take over on downs. They do come up with the stop there after the big run by Reese Sobel that changed field position. And now Montini will go the other way.
This is a formation you're going to see the entire afternoon, spread formation, 98% of the time. A lot of motion.
The handoff is to Taylor. And Dimitri Taylor still on his feet at the 40. He's across midfield. He could go all the way. The 20, the 10. Taylor takes it all the way to the house. 74-yard touchdown run by the senior Dimitri Taylor. They call him their secret weapon.
He really is a secret weapon, and as I mentioned in the open, I thought he was going to be the X factor, but I did not realize he was going to be X factor in the very first play of the ball game. Stretching out the defense right here. Good cutback right here. You can see the vision, the quickness, and then the overall speed that he has, changes the ball to the other hand, and then just outruns the defense of Morris.
That's a 5A state championship record, longest rush, beating the record of 70 yards by J.R. Zwierzinski of Joliet Catholic.
Montini's big nemesis.
Hart for the point after is good, and it's a 7-0 Montini lead. It's a one-play drive of 74 yards, and it's Dimitri Taylor. 1,300 yards on the season and 74 big ones here in the 5A state championship game.
To run that spread formation, and obviously on that first play you can see why.
His 13th rushing touchdown of the season. Kick is away from Hart into the end zone, and that's an automatic touchback in high school ball. All right, I'm sorry, I was a little early on that one. Let's go downstairs now to Sophia Minute.
Lee, Chris Andriano said before the game that he thought that was going to be the matchup, was Montini's speed versus Morris's size up front. He also said, we're going to have to win this game in the big play department. He got both on Taylor's touchdown.
Boy, did he ever. Wow, that was an amazing run. And he just, once he got to about midfield, you kind of got that feeling that he had a chance to take it all the way to the house, and he did.
Well, he has that kind of speed. As you saw, Morris did not when he broke his. So they don't have the same speed on Morris's side that Montini does.
Redskins start from their own 20. Sobel gets outside.
Ooh, a flip.
And there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, that was a tough block. It was a crack back. It wasn't designed initially to go wide. He wanted to come inside, and the wide receiver locked down to the defender who was trying to come up and make the play, and we got a clip on that particular play. That was a pretty easy call for the official to make.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty for the spot of foul. Replay first down.
Right there's your hold. He's coming back, and he rides him all the way down. He's taking that Bronco for a ride. Results in a flag. Morris isn't going to beat Montini, in my estimation, by running wide. They might have that be part of the changeup, but they're going to have to run inside with their power football.
Cinnamon, play action. Throws to Danny Friend. It's complete out near the 20-yard line. Danny Friend, as we mentioned, headed to the University of Indiana. All-stater.
Just a good little rollout. Friend is coming from the top side of your screen to the bottom on a drag route for the tight end. Good catch and good throw. But what this does, it just puts them back into the situation where they were. Now they have 2nd and 10. But Danny Friend is a threat to be able to catch the football. He's not a threat to go a long way after the catch, but he's a big target to go to at 6'5".
2nd and 11. Sobel, nowhere to go. Medical line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard.
Game plans are designed to do certain things. Coaches come in, they scout teams, they have these game plans, but what they don't count on is they have a penalty on first down, which results then in having 1st and 20 or 1st and 25, and that's just something that you can't factor in. Then all of a sudden you got to go to your 3rd and long plays, and you don't want to do that coming out of your own territory.
And that's happened to Morris on both possessions so
exactly
far.
And they were able to luck out in that first possession to get that long run, but couldn't capitalize on it when they got into good territory. Morris is a little bit confused here.
Call timeout on 3rd and 10.
Well, this has got to be a relatively conservative play, either a screen or a draw. I'd be really surprised if they go deep because they're afraid to give up decent field position to Montini here. There's your screen.
Screen out to Sobel, and nothing doing there.
Montini's going to end up with excellent field position now in this punt. And also, let's keep this in mind. Montini could go after this. Here it is, nothing fancy here. You can see Borsellino just dropping out right there. It's just a little swing screen out to the edge. And Montini pretty well had that game planned in, knowing that that's probably what they were going to do. But this will be a big play. Take into consideration high school football. We've got to have a good snap here. And we've got to have a good kick. And the big thing to me is catch the football. Don't worry about the return. Catch the football. Anything after the catch is gravy.
Preston Miracle, the punt. It bounces near midfield, almost hits a Morris player, and now does. And it will be Montini ball at about the 49-yard line in Morris territory. 28-yard punt for Preston Miracle. Joe Borsellino is actually the quarterback who handed off to Taylor on that first play, the touchdown run. Now it's Gorgianis at quarterback, and they call this their three-headed monster. 3 different guys will play quarterback, and they are so seamless in how they get back and forth in between quarterbacks. Our Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineup for Montini. At least this is how it'll start. Taylor, Tumpane, Dusick, Borsellino, Gorgianis listed as wide receivers, but Borsellino and Gorgianis will also play quarterback. There you get a look at the guys up front. Now it's Wills at quarterback. He throws it out to Borsellino. On 2nd and 3, gets a first down. Buffalo Wild Wings defensive starters for the Redskins. Borsellino has a laugh after he gets hit maybe late out of bounds. You can hear the crowd calling for a call there. Friend, Miracle, Grogan, and Soper up front for Morris. Linebackers, Countryman, Lincoln, and Perry. Perry, the All-Stater. Hogan, McNellis, Madison, and Rickard in the defensive secondary.
Montini,
1st and 10.
Excuse me. Montini has such excellent receivers that they're a threat on all the edges, which really opens it up for Taylor in the middle. But right there, Morris would have nothing to do with it.
Craig Clare, one of the co-captains with the stop.
You can see they try to run the draw with Taylor right here. They're spreading them out by formation. They like to spread things out horizontally so that they can then go vertical, not only with the passing game, but with the run game. And hopefully by doing that, the linebackers kind of help out by sliding out. That didn't work on that particular play.
2nd and 11. Wills, play action. Going deep, has a man downfield, and it's incomplete, just thrown over the head of Tyler Tumpane.
What's kind of interesting about Montini is it really doesn't make any difference if it's 1st and 10 or it's 3rd and 10. For the most part, that's their game. You can see it's a nice post route right here. The ball, if it's underthrown a little bit more, he's got a catch and he's got 6. Montini doesn't look at the sticks too often. There's a good shot of Chris Andriano. He's moved up on all the lists of the most winning coaches in the state of Illinois. He's done a great job for 34 years at Montini.
3rd and 11.
Crossing route shallow.
Wills hit as he throws it, and it's incomplete. Borsellino was the intended receiver. It looked like Friend got in there and pretty good lick on Alex Wills. He kicked a last-second field goal against Sycamore, hit the crossbar, and bounced through to give Montini a 24-22 win on the final play of the game.
Boy, that from up here, that does look a long way away. And it is, especially for a high school kicker.
56 yards. Tumpain on the hole. The kick is up, and it's going to be short.
No, that went about 46.
All right. Well, that was it was worth a shot anyway. Montini takes a 7-0 lead to the break. We're back with more from Champaign right after this. What is that, the wing tee?
It is. Well, it's kind of interesting. They went to the old formation wing team. Yes. I had talked to Coach earlier in the week, and he said what happened was the last 2 weeks, when they had some weather conditions, they went to this particular formation, which a lot of our fans at home don't remember, but that's the old T formation, and you can do a lot of variety out of it. The only problem is that you keep the defense in relatively tough and tight, and you're relying on your offensive line to produce here. Now, you might have tough, hard running backs, but if the offensive line doesn't produce, that formation is not going to do much for you. But it's been successful in the playoffs for them.
Searle picked up 3 on first down. This is Grogan with the carry. Let's go downstairs to Matt Rodewald.
You know, guys, when you're talking about preparing for Morris on the offensive side of the football, you have to prepare for multiple formations, whether it's the T formation, the wing T, the pro set, maybe it's a little bit of option. And this isn't just Alan Thorson's deal. This is something that George Sturgo had, and of course, Dan Darlington had going back 40 years. And, of course, the tradition of power football and Morris still reigns supreme. 35 minutes of time of possession against Sacred Heart Griffin to get the win. That could be the key here today.
Thanks, Matt.
That's a good point, because that's what they want to do.
Give that time is to Jeff Perry, and he has nowhere to go. Yeah, we saw against Washington in overtime, they pulled out everything out of their playbook to get that win. I mean, it was that kind of a ball game against.
Well, again, this is good defense right here by the defense. You can see the penetration by the defensive line right there, but also the linebackers being able to come up and make some tough plays, and that's exactly what happens when you have a constricted offensive formation like that. And you know, Montini's thrilled if they're going to stay in that particular formation. Again, Montini's going to end up with excellent field position.
Miracle to punt. It's fielded there by Curry. Oh, running back and forth. A lot of east-west, not a lot of north-south there from Derek Curry. That's what the kids say.
I always wonder what that means. Take it to the house. Take it to the end zone. Yes,
drop play to Taylor. He's got a first down and into Morris territory.
Now, see, he really is the X factor, because Morris in their coverage defensively has to account for under coverage on the outside. You can see linebackers dropping out to the outside. They just run him on a draw because the linebackers are forced to help out underneath. There's your draw. The linebackers are gone because they dropped into coverage to help out in the slots. And these are the kind of things that Montini can do just by formation.
Wills at quarterback. He's thrown for over 1,700 yards this year. Pass attempt there tipped at the line of scrimmage. So there's that's the one thing they always tell the defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up.
There's Frem. Nice job right there. And when you're 6'5", watch him at the top of the screen. Just good athleticism right there. You can just see it was just going to be a little quick curl route to the outside. And at 6'5", you're able to get your hand up. He didn't even have to jump. Nice play. He's headed to Indiana.
Conference Defensive Player of the Year. 2nd and 10 now. Wills with a lot of company in the backfield and a flag, and maybe movement too soon for the Broncos that time.
Well, you know, looking at statistics, Montini
offense, 5-yard penalty.
See, that particular play does not affect Montini as much as a play like that affected Morris early in the game. But getting back to Montini's offense, they average 34 points a game. But they've been giving up, which is very unusual for them this year, 20 points a game. So they've been playing it kind of close to the vest. They can always score, but the defense hasn't been as solid as it has been in prior years.
2nd and 15. Wills rolls out, looking right. His receiver falls down. Gorgianis was his intended receiver. He fell as he made his cut at the 30. And it goes incomplete now, 3rd and 15. Now they can make up the yardage a lot easier than Morris can.
No doubt about it. They've got so many tools and so many excellent wide receivers. It's not as if they have one. Last year, of course, you know, when they won the state championship, they had Westerkamp,
right,
who was just a man amongst boys. He set all kinds of records in the state for receptions, total receptions, yardage, touchdowns by a wide receiver. He set records in the state game last year for most receptions and most yardage. And he's playing in Nebraska right now. But they have more balance this year than they did last year. Most of it last year was just Westerkamp.
3rd and 15. Wills back to throw again, looking deep and overshoots his man. Like Gorgianis was looking for a flag, but none thrown. It'll be 4th down. Hart is back. He will punt, however, this time. Will end over ender, bounces and picked up at the 12-yard line by Kyle Hill, and he doesn't go very far with it.
They've got to pick up 4 to 5 yards to stay within their game plan.
3 and out the last 2 drives. Sobel with the carry, and he gets maybe 3 or 4 that time.
Now, this is not the kind of offense that people at home like to see when you're looking at a wing tee. It looks like it's an old throwback, but now they have face masks on. But you have to do what's effective for yourself. They want to keep the ball away from Montini. They know the threat that they have. They know the scoring threat from anywhere on the field. But they've got to get a solid drive together.
The only place people my age and younger know the T formation from is the Bears song. Bear Down Chicago. You know that one.
I was tapping my toe to it. This is going to be a big play right here.
Oh,
looked like a bootleg.
Not much doing there either. Cinnamon picks up about 3.
The way that he ran that play, it was tough to tell if he went the wrong way or that was an intended bootleg. It looked like he was kind of not sure. But the wide receiver was blocking backside, so I want to say it was a keep going back to the weak side, but they came up short. So now they're looking at 3rd and 3.
And that is how the first quarter will end. Low scoring, just that one big play to make it a 7-0 Montini lead. Dimitri Taylor's 74-yard touchdown run, the only scoring after 12 minutes.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, where the Montini Broncos lead 7-0 here. The Aurora Christian Eagles sit behind me, the Class 3A champions. They are here in support of Montini. They were part of a fundraising effort for Johnny Weiger, a sophomore football player for Montini, who lost his battle with leukemia during the quarterfinals. Aurora Christian and Montini, of course, conference mates, and Aurora Christian helped raise nearly $8,000 for the Johnny Weiger Medical Fund. Montini Broncos are wearing 76 helmet decals. His parents, Fran and Carl, are standing on the sidelines in support of Johnny's teammates. Lee?
Thank you, Sophia. It's a cold day in Champaign, but that story just gives you chills. There's Don Beebe, and what a great effort on behalf of Johnny Weiger and his family as we get back to action here. Cinnamon met and brought down at the line of scrimmage James Maloney. We talked to Chris Andriano about Johnny Weiger earlier this week, Jack, and he said he was a great kid. All of our kids loved him. Played inspired football that week that he died, and he was definitely on their minds. And what a great just the cooperation and the great, you saw Don Beebe before the game with Johnny Weiger's parents on the sideline. It's everything that's good about high school athletics.
Well, that's very true, and it's amazing that two schools that are such rivals can come together for a common cause like that, and such a wonderful cause it is. And it also brings their communities together, but more than that, it brings the two teams and the young men together to realize there's more to it than the game of football.
Absolutely. And the Montini players were here last night for the Aurora Christian game. It's a tragic story, the loss of a young man, but what came out of it is very inspiring.
Well, Morris certainly has their hands full here, Lee. Again, Montini could never, if they had their wish list last night, they could never guess that they could get such great field position throughout this game.
Miracles punt. stops at the 43 and bounces backward. There's a flag down at the 35-yard line.
During the play, holding 34 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty for the spot.
And that's a really unfortunate penalty because nobody picked up the ball. I mean, it was just bouncing around loose. There was nobody going to return that.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Morris does here in the second quarter now. Their defense has been part of their strength. They only have given up in 13 games prior to this. 12 points a game is their average, and that's pretty darn good when their offense has been scoring 35.
Alex Wills at quarterback, hands off to Taylor. He's got room to run outside the 50, now down to about the 38-yard line. Pickup of 14, and he's got a first down. Taylor now with 88 yards on the day.
Well,
74 on one play.
Well, my comment before, I mean, he's just got the speed to get outside, something that Morris does not have right now. And you can see that the job that's done by his wide receivers. This is part of being a wide receiver at Montini. You've got to be able to block. And that's exactly what they do downfield. They not only catch the football, but they block for their running backs.
Joe Borsellino doing a good job with the blocking that time. Now it's Gorgianis at quarterback. He hands it off. Taylor again, but not much doing that time. Pickup of a couple.
You know, we're talking about offenses and defense, and looking at the schedule that Morris played through this year, I don't think they really played against a team that had the versatility and the type of athletes that Montini has. Granted, they had a tough schedule, but Montini is a very unique football team in so much as they have such great talent, and they played big, tough schedule early on. Their first two ball games, their second game that they lost was against Lincoln Way East, who is playing in the 7A state championship today, sitting at 13-0.
Gorgianis handles a high snap, takes it himself, flag on the play after a pickup of a couple. Well, then the question is there another team in Illinois that you would face that would be similar to Montini to even prepare you for something like this?
Well, you know, it's interesting you asked that question, and this was not prepared.
On the offense.
But Lincoln Way East, who's going to play in the 7A state championship game, has a very similar offense to Montini. As our folks this afternoon will see, they have a great quarterback. They run the same kind of offense that Montini runs, but they don't throw it as much. They have their quarterback is more of a runner. He's run for about 1,200 some yards, but very interesting. They both played against each other. A lot of similarities. Good shot there of Chris Andriano, who has coached with the times. 34 years there. He would never have thought his first 15 or 20 years that he'd be running the spread in his 34th year.
There you get a look at the field position, and definitely in favor of Montini as Borsellino throws to Gorgianis and gets much of that yardage back on that penalty.
Again, just one of their good plays. They just run a little bubble screen on the outside, and the key to that is the downfield blocking by the wide receivers. You got to spend a lot of time doing this. You can see right here, he just turns, the guard pulls, gets out in front, just a spot pass, he gets on somebody, everybody's locked on somebody.
And here's our first look at the Joe Cat offense, as they call it. It's that Wildcat offense, and they call it the Joe Cat for Joe Borsellino. Even the teachers at Montini call him Joe Cat now.
It's amazing how schools and communities can get caught up in very successful football programs, especially in the fall. You know, when football is really the gathering point for the school and the community early.
4th and 3. Wills throws it outside to Gorgianis. He has the first down inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line. Pickup of 6, and it's first down and 10, Montini. Yeah, those assistant coaches, the unsung heroes, Louis Borsellino, the offensive coordinator. There is his son Joe, the last of the Borsellinos until the grandkids anyway.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, that tree's a long tree with a lot of branches out there. This is a little reverse coming back out of the slot. You can see here the guard pulling, good blocking at the point of attack, good tackle coming from the backside. And that could have been a big play, and it turned out to be a short yardage 3-yarder.
Nick Countryman with the stop there for Morris. Wills looking to throw a flag before they could get the play started.
These are the type of things in state championship games you don't want to have happen. Penalties.
Dead ball foul, snap infraction on red. 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
That's very, very unusual for Montini, who's so very well versed in their offense. And you can see Chris Andriano there not real happy about that.
Both teams, the penalties are keeping them out of a rhythm offensively.
There's no doubt about it. And it's really unusual because they're such good football teams and so very well coached.
2nd and 12.
Spreading the field, wide side, trip set, and we're going to single coverage up top, and I think that's where they might want to go.
Alex Wills, he's their throwing quarterback. Oh, and he gets sacked. One arm pull down by Colin Grogan.
What a big play by Grogan. And he's also, for a defensive back, I mean, he's playing nose. He's only 5'9", 205, but he just beats the center, and he's right there. That's a big play because at the top of the screen, he was open on a deep route. So Grogan, Colin Grogan there, that was a great play right there. That was a big sack.
Third down, a loss of 7.
Sometimes people look and wonder, why is there a running back's number up front of the defensive line? Because they want a quick defender up there.
Third and 19. Wills. It's Gorgianis, first down at the 12-yard line. Pick up at 21.
Boy, he put that ball right on the money off of that sprint out. And the reason they ran that sprint out was because they were getting pressure and they wanted to get out on the edge a little bit to get away from that pressure. But look at the delivery of the football right here. Nice catch and nice throw. You can see the defender backing off real quickly, but he knows where the first down marker is. Good catch. Defender tried to rip through the football, but wasn't able to get it.
Now it's Borsellino at quarterback, handing off to Taylor, and not much doing that time. This team, Montini, averages 200 yards rushing a game, 170 yards passing. So pretty balanced. And rushing, I mean, you would think that the numbers would skew in a spread team to very heavily pass-oriented, but they rush the ball a lot.
They really do. And the other part of it is a lot of times they play the short pass. They don't go deep all the time like these passes right here.
Borsellino, the catch. Well defended by Morris.
Those are runs to Morris, and that's what Montini does. They run the short outs, the quick screens like that, and that's why, you know, the balance is so good there, because they don't really go for the big bomb all the time, as most people would think when you're looking at the passing team with the passing formations. Now later on today, we'll see that in the 6A game, probably with Crete Moni. You're going to see one of the top receiver in the country, and he can flat out fly. That's a team that'll really air it out going deep.
Montini calls timeout here as you get a look at Alan Thorson, Morris head coach. (7-0) our score here as we are midway through the second quarter. And really, Jack McInerney, both offenses stalling a little bit because of penalties, and not, you know, we saw that first play, that opening play from Montini. We thought, oh boy, here we go. But Morris has done a nice job defensively keeping them out of the end zone.
Well, it really has. And what's happened is they've both hurt themselves by their penalties, and they've done it early in first down and second down to put themselves in third and long, something Montini's used to, but certainly something Morris is not used to.
Yeah. Morris, you have to defend against so many things when you're playing Montini. I mean, it's the pass, it's the run, it's the different formations, but
as
they're
you mentioned,
finding a way.
They really do have great balance, and that's so very difficult to defend. And Morris isn't loaded with a ton of speedsters down there, so they've got to change up coverages and make the reads more difficult for Montini, and hope they throw them off that way.
3rd and 8. It's Wills at quarterback this time. And another whistle and another flag.
This is really amazing. And the thing that's so very difficult is for coaches.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Coaches really have a tough time with these particular penalties. You can live with a penalty if it occurs during a play. Okay, the kids are being aggressive, they hold, and maybe they clip, something along those lines. But when there's a penalty before the play is ever run. That's one of the most difficult things for coaches to comprehend.
5th penalty on Montini. 3rd down now as they're in 4-down territory, you would imagine. The throw to the end zone is caught but out of bounds. That's Michael Dusick. He was out of bounds when he caught it, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Ran a little combination route down here. He ended up with the wheel route. They ran the wide guy in a post, and then the slot man ran the wheel in behind him, and he would have been out of bounds either way. You got to give him more room to catch the ball in bounds. But now we're going to look at Andrew Hart well within his range as far as field goals are concerned. In fact, this is just a chip shot for him.
They will go ahead and try and take the 3 points here. 32-yard attempt. It's up.
Oh,
no good.
Oh,
wide left.
Let's take a look from this angle, because from we're right up here.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah. He certainly doesn't agree. Morris is very happy about it.
Redskins 1st and 10, and it's Sobel with the carry, pickup of about 7.
Now see, that's exactly what they need. Now maybe that was the incentive, maybe that was what they needed. You saw the crowd down here, or heard the crowd down here with Morris kind of give a roll, a big scream after that missed field goal, and now you get a nice run on 1st down, and this is what they do. This kind of maybe changed the momentum a little bit for him.
Sobel averages a little over 8 yards per carry. That was a 12-play, 5.5-minute drive for Montini, and they come up empty. 2nd and 3 that gives to Perry. He loses it. Fumble.
This is really disastrous. Disastrous. So they got it back. When he first got that ball, I looked down and I thought he was getting a fake because he looked so casual with it. And obviously he was casual with it. Just giving him the fullback on a short dive. Nice job by the offensive line right there, but he was just carrying the ball low. He didn't have a good grip on the football coming out. Great camera shot right there. Just got a little bump, put the ball on the ground, and that shouldn't happen with a fullback. Now granted, he doesn't carry the ball all that often, but that was a big 1st down for him.
Looked like one of the Montini linemen might have got a hand on it.
But now this is kind of what Morris likes to do. 1st down. That's the crucial part for him. What are they going to do on 1st down? Play action.
Cinnamon looking left and overthrows Perry, his intended receiver.
He actually had the tight end dragging across, who was open rather than the back coming out the backfield. But let's see, you want to keep him off balance. I can understand that. But now that puts them in a different situation. I might have tried that on 2nd down if I would have had 2nd and 3rd or 4th. But now you're looking at 2nd and 10. And you might dig yourself a little hole here.
Cinnamon, a pretty accurate thrower. He hasn't thrown it a lot, but he was 50 of 81 passing coming into this ball game, 883 yards.
Well, doing the math in my head real quick, in a matter of 13 games, that's only 6 times he throws the ball per game. So that's not a lot of passing. Oh, good blocks.
Sobel tries to get outside. Montini strings it out. Joshua Belt with the takedown at about the 31-yard line.
And this is what we're talking about, Lee. You can see right here, really doesn't have the speed to get out to that edge. And, of course, right there, the corner's unblocked. They just had one extra man with the safety coming up. But Morris cannot afford this. Now they're looking at 3rd and 9. This is really a no-no for Morris's offense. So that 1st down play was so very crucial, that incomplete pass. It can come back to haunt you. You got to pick your spots.
Chris Andriano said to us earlier this week, we got to bring our best game physically, and he asked the question, which defense will rise to the occasion? It is a defensive struggle right here in the latter stages of the 2nd quarter. Cinnamon rolling left, the left-hander way over the intended receiver. Jake Hogan was the guy that he was looking for. He was double covered, and it was way over his head.
It really was. He overthrew him, and yet he still had a man wide open in the corner. And right here, he's just rolling out to get away from the pressure, and he just overthrows him. But he actually had, you can see right there, the man on the left hand of the screen right there is wide open. There was nobody around him. But you got to understand, He only throws the ball on an average 6 times a game. Now, granted, he completes 3 of those, but you know, he's not used to throwing the ball. He's already thrown more today than he does normally. And we're not even done with the first half.
Miracle to punt. He's been busy today. Caught, dropped, and picked back up by Curry. And then dropped in his track. He dropped the ball and was dropped in his tracks. 4:34 to go here, second quarter. Montini 1st and 10. Here's Taylor trying to get to the outside.
Nice job.
Morris does a nice job of stretching that one out. Perry, the All-Stater, making contact at the end, at the sideline there.
Just a straight jet sweep right out of here with the motion man going to the top of the screen, where they actually had 3 wide receivers blocking, but it doesn't look like they blocked anybody, and just a little love tap right there at the end.
They give him 1. Gorgianis now. Quarterback draw. He picks up about 7 yards. Be a couple of yards shy of the first down.
It's nice to have an athlete like this that can run. You can insert back there. Just a quarterback draw. They spread him out. Linebacker stays home. He's kind of mirroring him, but a nice block right there to take him out of the play. But he picks up 9. Now it puts him in a reasonable position at 3rd and 2. And running that draw was a nice play by Georgianis.
Go back to Alex Wills, the transfer from Wheaton South at quarterback. Or no, that's Joe. No, that is Gorgianis. Excuse me. He keeps it and takes it for the first down. Pick up the 4 into Morris territory. Need to get those guys some numbers on their shoulder like the NFL so we can tell who's who back there.
There you go. And those numbers are relatively small, but you can see right here just a nice job. They know the personnel packages they have in for the down and distances, and they're accomplishing what they started out to do with those particular packages. Now they're spreading them out again with a little pistol look here.
Gorgianis still at QB, throws it out to the near side, and a flag on that play after the completion to Michael Dusick. Mistakes we're not used to seeing from the Montini program. 1st and 21. Wills now at quarterback. Montini will look to put the ball in the air, and Grogan got a hand on it. Incomplete pass.
What a great play right there. He read that the whole way coming up.
Colin Grogan, 5'9", 205-pound senior, makes a great athletic play here.
Watch this. It's just a screen, a dump out here, and we just kind of miss it right there. But he makes the tip. I think we'll catch it here. He gets out in front, and what he does is he reads the lineman. And then he keys to the back. Where's the back? Knowing that the lineman can't catch it, but the lineman is pulling for a reason. What a great defensive play that was right there.
Morris defense stepping up here, only allowing 12.5 points per game this season. 2nd and 21. Wills all alone in the backfield, rolling right, looking for a man. Can't find anybody, now does. That's Gorgianis.
Good stop. That was a good defensive job by Morris. They put pressure on the quarterback to keep him running, not allow him to set his feet to look downfield. But the secondary did an excellent job because they kept all the receivers in front of them, knowing that they didn't want anybody to get deep. This puts pressure on the secondary whenever you get a quarterback rolling like that, because they lose sight of their receivers. But nice job right here. He came up short. He's about 10 yards short of the first down, and that was a good job by the secondary keeping the receivers in front of him.
10-yard pickup, 3rd and 11. Look at Gorgianis, 459 yards rushing, 341 passing, 541 receiving. He does it all for this Montini team. Wills looking to throw, has Taylor. He's got it at the 25, now the 20, inside the 10.
Oh, wow.
Spin move at the 10.
No.
Still on his feet. Touchdown, Dimitri Taylor.
What a play.
48 yards on the pitch and catch from Wills to Dimitri Taylor. And what a game this young man is having.
Now, tomorrow, when you read the stats in the newspaper, you'll read 46-yard touchdown pass. That's not what it was. It was about a 20-yard throw and then a tremendous run after the catch. Take a look at the catch. Good catch and throw. But now here's where they start talking about it. Great spin out right here, and just an excellent job of wanting to get into that end zone. Great job by Taylor.
Taylor, a touchdown run, a touchdown reception. Hart's extra point blocked.
That could be a big play. Doesn't seem like much right now, but down the road, it could be a big play.
Only one missed extra point all year for Hart coming in.
This is really a touch pass right here, right over the top. He gets past the linebacker in the middle field, and then after that, it's yardage after the catch, and those are kind of things you can't account for. You can account for the throw, you know, if you're throwing a 12-yard out or a 10-yard out, but on plays like this, you never know what's going to happen after the catch. And when you got the ball in the hands of Dimitri Taylor, that's kind of the result of it. Montini's been very fortunate with field position, so you could look at a couple of things. Field position and penalties resulting in why the score is what it is.
Hart the kickoff. And the return by Jason Madison. Flagged on the play, comes in late.
What a time to shine in the state championship game.
That was just his rushing number. You can add that 48-yard touchdown catch to the 103 yards rushing. Sobel picks up about 4.
A little cross-buck look out of the T formation. Fake to the fullback and then give to the back, coming back across the backfield off tackle. Picks up about 4 or 5. That's what they need to do. But right now, with 1:50 left, they don't want to give up the football here. They need to go into halftime and make some adjustments on the blackboard.
Inside 2 minutes now for the first half.
Now, I fell right into the trap of the T formation, saying go into make adjustments on the blackboard. I should have said the dry erase board.
Here's Perry with it. He takes it out near the 20-yard line, and a flag comes in late. First and 10 for the Redskins from their own 25. Sobel. Ooh, here's a good carry for him. He's got a first down. Pickup of 13. Let's go downstairs quickly to Sophia Minard.
Lee, you might want to take another look at that touchdown. Dimitri Taylor is sitting on the Montini bench. He's taken off his right cleat. He's trying to work it out, trying to move it around. I don't know if he rolled the ankle going in for the end zone, but he's just trying to work out some stiffness right now, I think.
And he's leading the band, it appears. I don't think he's hurt too seriously.
Good job there, penetration. Excellent job by Preston Miracle, 240-pound nose man. Just did a nice swim move on the guard and had good penetration. Morse cannot afford to have penetration by Montini. That Dylan Thompson on that particular play. Good penetration for a big man.
Under a minute to go now. 13-0 Montini. Dimitri Taylor, a long touchdown run, a long touchdown reception that was most of it on his own accord. Here comes the rush. Friend, the catch. Cinnamon get hit after he let go of it?
A little bit. He got a lot of pressure again from number 59, Dylan Thompson, who made that play previously. And for a big man, it's 6'6", 260, and he's only a junior. He can really move. Good pass rush, and then he gets out on the edge. So Dylan Thompson has got a lot to showcase here as only a junior. Very impressive.
Last play of the half. Cinnamon from the shotgun. He's open, looking deep. Nice leaping grab there by Perry. And that's how the first half will end. Yeah, maybe something to build on there for Morris. If they can do that, then maybe they come out of the wing tee.
They need to do that, but they need to do it in a more selective fashion than they're doing it thus far.
13-0 our score at halftime. Sophia Minard's downstairs.
Coach Andriano, you said you wanted to win the big play department, and 2 big plays have given you a 13-0 lead here.
Yeah, that was nice. DT, of course, has got that kind of ability, but we wasted a few opportunities as well. So, you know, we got a few adjustments to make at halftime.
Tremendous field position for you throughout the first half. Disappointing at all to come away with only 13?
Yeah, I think it is. And we think we really should be a little bit upset with ourselves that we didn't come up with more points. We missed 2 field goals. We had more opportunities for points, and you can't let a good team hang around.
All right, thank you, Coach Lee. Back up to you.
All right, Sophia, one of the all-time greats there. Chris Andriano trying to win his 4th straight state championship with the Montini Broncos. Dimitri Taylor doing a lot to help him out. 2 touchdowns for him. 13-0, the Montini lead at halftime. wins. We are back. Montini fans with a lot to cheer about in that first half. 13-0. The Broncos leading. Morris. Well, and that's what Chris Andriano said, too, is the kids are into making history. We haven't shied away from it. You know, there's no use of pretending it's not there. A short little kick here and a fair catch called for by Montini. James Maloney was one of the up guys. He called for the fair catch very quickly after that kick was made. And it'll be first and 10 from the 30 for Montini with a 13-0 lead. So pretty decent field position to start the third quarter.
Well, they've had decent field position throughout the first half. But again, Morris is going to be relying on their defense. Their defense has been good for them all year long. They've only given up 12 points a game. Granted, they're over that average right now, but if they can shut them out in the second half, we've got a ball game.
Oh, picked off. Danny Friend got a hand on the pass from Alex Wills, and he had nothing but wide open spaces between him and the end zone.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, he picked one off just like this and ran it in from 24 yards. At 6'5", he's a guy that can go up and get it. What he does is he gets in between the outside linebacker there and the inside receiver. Oh, that would have been a big pick, and he could have just trotted in from the end zone there into the end zone. Ooh, would that been a change?
Yes, sir. 2nd and 10.
I think for a tight end, he might have caught that.
Wills flushed out of the pocket. Friend on his tail. Rolling right, rolling right. Tries to get it to Gorgianis, and it's incomplete.
Well, that's interesting right now. I would love to have been, this is part of the coach that's still in me here, being in that locker room, and either one of those locker rooms be a fly on a wall and just listen to what they were talking about. You know, in Montini's locker room and Morris's locker room, what changes they had to make. And I shouldn't say changes. I should say adjustments, because these teams got here by running solid offenses and solid defenses. So they're at the point right now where they're making adjustments at halftime. They're not making changes.
3rd and 10. Opening drive of the third quarter. Alex Wills all by his lonesome, throws it out to Taylor. He makes a move at the 35. He's got a first down. And he's out to the 44-yard line, pickup of 14.
Just a regular back would have caught that and came up about 3 yards short of that first down. But the moves that he made after the catch, just prior to picking up that first down. Right here, not bad. Right there, the hole's there. But here's the moves right here to pick up the first down. The cutback right there. And that's the extra 2 yards he needed to get that first down. That was a big play by Taylor, and he's been thus far a player of big plays.
Had 7 catches and a touchdown in last year's state title game. There he is again. A just easy running motion for Dimitri Taylor. Makes it look so easy down to the 38-yard line. Pickup of 18.
That was nothing fancy, just a draw coming back this way. You can see the guard and tackle. It's just a counter. The guard pulls and the tackle pulls.
Look at him glide.
And he's just waiting for that second gear to kick in for the block downfield. He gets David Sarkin, 66 and 53 Ferraro out in front of him on the little counter. And then all of a sudden he's looking for a block. But the cutback's the key. He's just a tough player to bring down in the open field.
Here's the Joe Cat. Joe Borsellino takes it down inside the 30. He's close to a first down.
And that's just nothing more than an option play. He's reading the backside linebacker to see where he goes on the fake. Watch him read. He closed down. He keeps the ball and goes where that linebacker should have been. If that defensive end or outside linebacker closes down in the initial fake, then he's going to keep the ball and go outside of him. So their three-headed monster's been very active here now. Now they've got Wills back in at quarterback.
Very impressive just how seamless they are. It just does. I mean, you don't even notice that they're changing quarterbacks. It just one guy moves in, one guy moves out. Wills, pump fake, throws for Gorgianis. Gorgianis stopped
Well, there was a pump fake to that off of that, Lee, the quarterback made, but the defender never bit on it one bit. He backpedaled and stayed in his backpedal. He did not come up. He was playing a soft corner, and that's what threw that play off.
Look at Dimitri Taylor. Chris Andriano, you can't give him any higher praise than this. Says he's a complete player. And we've seen him do a little bit of everything. Catch, run. He hasn't played quarterback, but he's one of the few. Here's the handoff to Taylor. This time, Friend drags him down after he gains first down yardage down to the 26-yard line.
I'm very impressed with Danny Friend from Morris at 6'5", 250. Now, Indiana recruited him as a tight end, but he's also going to, I think he could play some linebacker for them, but that's just a nice job right here. You can see he takes on the block, spins out of the block to make the tackle. That's an outstanding football player overall, both defensively and offensively.
125 yards for Dimitri Taylor on the ground. Here's Gorgianis. Turns the corner, picks up about 5 or 6 yards there.
Nothing fancy about that either. He just took it. It was just a quarterback sweep to the wide side of the, actually running to the short side of the field. You can see it tucked right now. He's got a lead blocker out there. They're trying to string it out. He gets to the edge. You know, he picks up 4 or 5 yards. That's a good sound play. He's the better runner, even including Borsellino coming out of that spread formation.
Gorgianis ran for 5 touchdowns, 198 yards in the win over Marion Central.
Those were all, 5. Excuse me, Lee. They were all short touchdown runs, but they're still 5 touchdowns.
The fantasy players, it still all counts the same for them.
That's exactly right.
Taylor picks up a couple.
Well, you know, he filled in last year when John Rohde, the quarterback, went down early before the season ever started. They moved Gorgianis back to quarterback. He played throughout most of the year. They got him to the state championship game, and then Rohde's finger healed probably near the latter half of the season. He came back in, and then Gorgianis went back to wide receiver. Did the same thing this year early on when Wills was hurt in the 5th game of the year.
Broncos pretty good on 3rd down here today, and they convert another one on the 10th play of this drive.
See, they're showing the consistency that they need to do. They're keeping Morris off balance, and the key is they're keeping those linebackers off balance. You can see how they pull and trap. They just run right up inside. 75, Tate Briggs doing a nice job.
Borsellino does a nice job of hanging on to the snap. Picks up a couple. Borsellino, the heart and soul of our team, according to Chris Andriano. We watched him grow up here. This is his 3rd state championship game.
Well, having his father as the offensive coordinator doesn't hurt. Showing a lot of versatility. Sometimes I think, though, when they switch around a lot of quarterbacks, that the initial quarterback, Wills, in this case, doesn't get the rhythm when he's, you know, in and out every other play.
Keeps it himself, nobody open. He takes it down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Pick up a 5 for Wills, who suffered a concussion in week 7. So that's where the depth at quarterback comes in handy when you got a guy that gets hurt.
Well, that's where Gorgianis comes in effect from last year and, of course, this year. But here's a job right here by Wills. Now, if he goes down, they got 2 other guys they can put in there. But getting back to the game plan of this is not what Morris expected to come out in the second half, is to have Montini work the clock and work the field.
Borsellino, not much doing there.
But what he did do is
with the stop.
Excuse me, he brought the ball right into the middle of the field in case they want to go for a field goal, which I think they'll probably want to do. But that run was designed to go right in between the uprights. And that's exactly where the ball is being placed now for a field goal attempt. So there's always a thought process behind a play depending on where you are and what the defense is giving you. Now, if they would have ran that play wide, the ball might have been on the right hash mark, which is, of course, a different angle than for the kicker. So, you know, you're playing into the strength of your game right now, and right now it's ball control for them and letting Andrew Hart pick up at 3 points. Now, he missed one from this range earlier in the second quarter.
This one is up and good for Andrew Hart, the All-State kicker. Hart will kick it off. Looking right into the sun and off the Morris player.
They can't win for field position.
Hill, boy, it went right off of him.
That is
Kyle Hill had to go right off and looking right up into the sun. The sun has been pretty much inside the clouds all day, and pops out there and gives Hill a little trouble. Lost it in the sun.
You know, you're up here and you're neutral as far as the teams, but I've got to kind of feel sorry for Morris. They just cannot, for the life of them, get field position. Here they have an opportunity, and they bobble the kickoff.
They're lucky to have the ball.
They sure are. But this is now going to be dramatic as far as his first down play.
And you mentioned that Morris might go to a different look out of the old T formation, and they do here. Cinnamon finds a way through the line, picks his spot, and gets about 4 yards on first down.
Now, Cinnamon, again, has not been a big rusher for them as far as the versatility if they were going to start coming out of the spread formation. He's carried the ball about 98 times running the ball this entire season for 459 yards and 10 touchdowns, which isn't too bad. But again, that's only a little over 7 carries a game and about 4.5 yards per average. So here they come in a different look.
Cinnamon looking to throw. Nothing there. Chased and brought down. Dylan Thompson in on the tackle.
Now, something that's going to happen here is with Morris coming out in this formation, they're actually playing into the hands of Montini, because what does Montini run? They run the spread formation. What does Montini practice against all week long defensively for the most part is this particular look. So this is playing almost into the hands of Montini's defense to come out in this particular formation. And now they're looking at 3rd and 8.
Morris just 2 of 7 on 3rd downs today.
Sometimes you can catch a team napping when you come out in a new formation in the second half, but not a team like Montini.
Pass is thrown behind the intended receiver. Anthony Munson was the intended receiver, and boy, it was very close to being picked off.
Very, very close. And again, we are so redundant this entire game by saying Montini's going to end up with excellent field position coming out of this kick. Now, this is a smart play by Montini. Rather than have one receiver deep, they're putting 2 back there because they want to make sure they can handle the football rather than let it hit and get a bounce. They want to have it caught so they end up with good field position. That's the key. Catch it, and then everything after the catch is gravy. Here comes gravy.
Curry catching it at the 42 and takes it down to the 36. A return of 6 for Curry.
Caught up in stats talking about yardages from passing to rushing, but you never know where they occurred from. In this case, to start a drive from the 36.
Will's a quarterback for Montini, leading 16-0. His pass is complete.
That was an excellent
route. That's Gorgianis on the catch.
Excellent route. The slot man ran a little slant, and then the outside man ran the second slant behind him. And what that does is that clears the linebacker out and opens up a big gap between the linebacker and the corner for that slant.
And there's a look at that field position. Morris average starting position, their own 9. Montini, their own 46. That's a huge difference in this game. Here's Taylor. Waits for it, and takes it down to the 22, a pickup of 5. Let's go downstairs now to Sophia Minard.
Montini head coach Chris Rangiano spoke about his team's playoff run and said, we knew this run was going to be extremely difficult. We had that last-second win against Sycamore, of course, going on the road versus Marion Central the week of Johnny Weiger's death. Of course, they had to come from behind against Joliet Catholic last week, but he said our kids have done a tremendous job of being mentally focused, guys.
Yeah, he says those close wins show what our kids are made of. And they are made of good stock. Gorgianis takes it and out of bounds near a first down at the 13-yard line.
That was an excellent job of blocking downfield by the other wide receiver, number 28, Tyler Tumpain, who just hung on the block right there. And that's a long block off of this jet sweep because it takes a long time to get there, which means he's got to be blocking all that much longer. But that was just an excellent job there, and he knew just exactly what he needed to do on that last little tiptoe in there to pick up the first down.
Alex Wills, quarterback, is lined up at receiver near side. It's Joe Borsellino behind center. Gives to Taylor, who he takes a couple of hard hits and doesn't get much there.
Now, sometimes when you get down in here, you can get a little too fancy. And, you know, obviously, Montini's been here long enough to know what it takes to get here, but sometimes it takes a little longer. When you do too much action in the backfield, that means that the offensive linemen have to sustain their blocks longer. And that's not that easy to do when you're going up against a defense like Morris possesses.
Borsellino in the Joe Cat. He's going to throw it this time to Gorgianis. He gets popped after a gain of a couple.
Good reaction by Morris getting over there. They pretty much know that once those shoulders are turned and looked in one direction, the ball's going to be released, and they're biting on that particular move. They're flying to initially when he turns. That's the direction they're going. Watch how fast he turns, and they're flying to the football right there. Not only the linebacker, but the secondary coming up. That's a big play. It's not going deep for Montini. It's on the edges where they throw the bubble screens and the quick outs. It picks up all their yardage.
Giannis nursing that ankle a little bit as he got up.
Now we're looking at the full house backfield here by only out of the spread formation.
Option Joe Cat keeps it himself.
Nice play.
Not much doing there. The tackle made by Brad Rickard for Morris.
That was just an excellent play by Rickard coming up and making that tackle, staying home, because that's the first time they actually ran the option. And when you're going against a team that doesn't do it that often, sometimes you can break down as far as who has responsibility for what. That was just a good job. Somebody got on the pitch man and somebody on the quarterback. And again, Andrew Hart coming in for that field goal. And for him, it usually is a chip shot.
26-yarder. He is 1 for 2. Made the 28-yarder, and now Morris jumps offside. That's Grogan. Unless he was drawn, we might see a change in strategy.
There you go.
He was on Montini.
A challenge for most. But remember, his longest is 51 this year.
Good snap. Kick is good. Hart makes it 19-0. Montini, the shutout, intact for the Broncos as they go for their 4th straight state championship here in Champaign.
Good football to be seen the rest of this afternoon. I've had a chance to see all of those teams, and they are really outstanding high school football teams.
Hart kicks it into the end zone. It'll be 1st down and 10 from the 20 for Morris.
And then the next one that they had was in 1984, and that was 4A. And then the 6A championship in 205. So they've moved along the classes as the expansion of the playoffs has occurred over the years. And Morris has had a traditionally great program. Obviously, this is their 10th time in the title game.
Cinnamon. Oh, flushed out of the pocket and sacked. Fred Bogart, Dylan Thompson in on the sack. A loss of 14.
Now that's where you tell your quarterback you have to get rid of the football. We cannot afford to lose 14 yards. Now again, he's in a situation he's not normally been in, where he's now the catalyst for this offense. He needs to roll out of here. There's nothing there. Get rid of the football. Throw it out of bounds. That's just inexperience right there. Well, it looks like they're committed to this spread in the second half.
Here's the draw. Perry with it. Picks up about 6. Jeff Perry, the 6'3" senior.
Now, what's interesting is here you are in the state championship game. You're playing your 14th game of the year, and you're forced to get out of your comfort level that you've run for 14 games or 13 games coming into this, where you've run a couple of different formations, but really have never run this for any length, or certainly where you need to count on it to win a state championship. So this is not a good comfort zone for Morris. And yet Montini sees this every day in practice.
They did go to this again, as we mentioned, against Washington, and came up with that overtime win. Cinnamon kind of trying to freelance now, running one way, now running the other. Steps out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Pickup of 12, but it'll still be short of the first down. Bring up fourth down for the Redskins, who have had awful field position all day and unable to move the ball against this Broncos defense.
Well, you can see right there one of the reasons why he tried to sprint out to the one side, and Montini will have nothing to do with it. They're stretching it out till they get help, and he has to cut back and then start Fran Tarkington around. Wow. And just a nice job by Montini. They just play good, solid defense.
Sir Francis, you're digging way back.
Way back. Whenever I see somebody scrambling around like that, and of course now you see that more often when kids are in the spread formation because there's so many great athletes back there.
Miracle to punt. End over end job. Curry
nice catch.
Fields it at the 44. Flag on the play. Curry steps out at the other 44-yard.
Good field position again for Montini.
Gorgianis at quarterback.
Oh, they're putting a linebacker on Dimitri.
He's going to keep it himself. Ooh, a little straight arm action from Gorgianis. Right into the face mask of Mike McNellis. All right, Matt, thank you very much. Yeah, that's, boy, that's tough. Both teams have lost teammates in the last year. And our thoughts go out to them. This pass play intended for Dusick from Alex Wills. He was wide open. Just overshot him a little bit.
Well, and the corner bit on the little pump fake that he makes right there. And they run a post route. They run a post route to make sure that the safety can't help him, and they get isolation with the cornerback. And he could tell right there that he overthrew him. You get a guy open like that, sometimes that's a tougher throw than trying to drill one in between two linebackers.
Joe Borsellino at quarterback. Give us to Taylor. Tries to bounce it outside and does. Flag on the play. Dimitri Taylor takes it to the 25, but that's probably coming back. 3rd and 15 for Montini, up 19-0. Alex Wills at quarterback. Safety Borsellino at the 50. Oh, he was looking at Dusick, but Dusick stepped out of bounds. So that wouldn't have been a legal catch.
That was a good coverage downfield by the secondary of Morris, and that's why he went to his last cause down here, the safety valve. He's looking down the field, and everything's taken, so he just pops it out here to the safety valve that's right on the edge. And Borsellino trying to set up his blockers, but he's not getting it. You can see a bend over backwards there. But interestingly, the first game of the year, Montini didn't know what they had in a quarterback because Wills transferred from Wheaton Warrenville South to Montini at the end of the year. Oh, mercy. But getting
Jake Hogan had a little trouble with that. And then boy, the special teams haven't done him any favors either. A 44-yard punt.
He came up with 320 yards throwing the football, so then they knew they had something after that first ball game.
Sobel nowhere to go. On the theme of poor field position continues for Morris. We've seen their average starting position's been getting worse as the day's gone on.
Well, this is really what you call a nightmare, a real nightmare for Morris.
Much shorter field for Montini today.
Well, it has been, and everything is just a direct opposite of what Morris wanted and needed to happen in this game. They needed to run the football, they needed to control the clock, and what they needed to have is good field position. And they never, ever had that.
On 2nd and 11, Wills looking for Friend, and he almost comes up with it. Cinnamon's throw just off the fingertips of Danny Friend.
That was a nice touch pass. It was right on the money. And Danny Friend, of course, had a bad angle on it. You could see just a little touch pass over here. Tip.
Still was going after it.
Good hustle on his part.
He's a guy that's played tight end, defensive line, quarterback, and long snaps for Morris this year.
Well, that's why he's going to Division I, University of Indiana. They can use some help, and he might be just the man to get him over the top. 6'5", 250.
3rd and 11. Pass is complete to Perry and out of bounds at the 6. Talk about Friend going to Indiana University, Purdue, Minnesota, Oregon, some of the other schools that looked at him. Really wants to go there and try and help be a part of something special and get something started.
I'm kind of interested as to how many schools from the West Coast have, this year has been very unique, and how many have come in and looking at kids in the Illinois and Midwestern area. You know, you just mentioned Oregon. Well, they were looking at Treadwell, who will be playing in our game following this one, and several other players. So when they're coming Southern Cal, going after Ty Isaac from Joliet Catholic.
And then you got the Caravan coming up in that final championship game of the day. Will's little shuffle pass to Taylor. Flag coming back, holding against Montini.
Now they did a little shuttle pass. What they're doing with that is because the linebackers are forced to go out and help out a little bit on the wide receivers because they are really spreading the field. They're going to isolate somebody here.
Wills takes the snap. Draw to Taylor. Taylor across midfield and down at the 45-yard line.
Now, that was an excellent play by the defender that did not make the tackles. Just to draw here, what he does is he slows Taylor down right there. See him slow down till help arrives. So he didn't make the tackle, but he did a great job of breaking down and not lunging and letting him make moves on the run moving up the field.
148 yards rushing for Taylor.
Good throw.
Here's the pass complete to Tyler Tumpane. That'll be a first down for the Broncos.
That's Tumpane's first catch today. He again is one of those unheralded receivers in the arsenal and stable that Montini has.
Will's now thrown for 124 yards and a touchdown.
They're giving Morris's defense a lot of different looks and formations. There's an offside by the right tackle.
It hasn't been a dominating trip to the state finals for Montini by any stretch of the imagination, but whatever it takes has been their motto, one of their mottos.
Oh, what a catch.
Oh, it's in and out of the hands of Tumpane. Thought he had it.
That was a good throw. Almost looked like he slowed up a wee bit. But interesting on your comment, Lee, about the trials and tribulations of Montini getting here throughout the year. This is just a nice touch pass. They're just isolating him right now one-on-one. And it looked like he had it. But Montini has never won with an undefeated season. In other words, they're going for their 4th straight state title, but they've never done it by being undefeated. So they've always had some trials and tribulations to get there.
Good point. Taylor on second down. Down to about the 30. Yeah, and that's... We'll get more into that in just a minute. Let's go downstairs to Sophia Minter.
Chris Andriano in our press conference earlier this week said, hey, our motto is we just know how to win. And by that, he said Montini football is just resilient, that we're just prepared for almost every situation, and gave a lot of credit to the kids and their work ethic, that they are the ones that have put in the time to know, every game plan. And like you said, we just know how to win, and there's no quit in this Broncos team.
Yep, never say die attitude. And he says those tests just make his team better. And he really gives a nod to the coaching, and he wasn't patting himself on the back. He was talking about his assistant coaches and how they have helped these kids mature and get better, as Sophia mentioned, as they learn from those mistakes. And you probably know this from coaching as much as anybody. Kids learn more from losses and more from tough times than maybe they do when things go really well.
That's making the assumption that they have good coaches to help them learn that. And that's exactly what Montini has.
Right.
They have a strong coaching staff, and they learn from their mistakes. And that's why they always schedule tough opponents. That's why they schedule right away their first 2 games schools that are in the 8A class and 7A class. They schedule Palatine, who they beat in double overtime in the first game, and in their second game they scheduled Lincoln Way East. who is in the 7A state championship game. So they don't shy away from a tough schedule. They got into the playoffs with a 5-4 record that year that they won the state championship. So that gives you a perfect example of the concept that you're never done until it's over. And in their case, coming into it 5-4, nobody would have ever thought they would have won a state championship.
Cinnamon rolling out on 1st and 10, throwing it down the middle and almost actually through the hands of number 46 for Montini. That's Nicholas Sanzeri.
He's in a situation, Zach Cinnamon is in a situation that he hasn't been in all year long, and that's coming out of the spread formation and then getting pressure where he has to scramble and try and throw on the run. And he's just throwing it up for grabs here. The closest person to it was a Montini linebacker. So again, Morris is in unfettered territory here for their situation. It's 2nd and 10.
This is great field position for them, though.
It certainly has been.
Here's Perry with it. Perry, the All-Stater on the defensive side of the ball, headed to Central Michigan. Another Division I recruit for the Redskins.
And that's something that has not happened very often in this second half at all for Morris, is first downs.
Just their first down of the second half, only their 6th overall in the game.
That truly is an amazing statistic to go along with the poor field position they've had this entire game.
6:44 to go in this one. Cinnamon almost brought down behind the line of scrimmage and then makes it back there before he's tackled.
Fred Bogard, number 58. He's one of the captains, defensive lineman, 6'3", 245. Good penetration coming up at the top right here. It has nothing to do. He's backside contained, and he does the job right there. Now, he's a young man that's got a lot of MAC schools looking at him, some Big Ten schools. So Montini has a lot of athletes that have a lot of different universities looking at them as far as what kind of an athlete they are and if they can play football at the next level. And they've got enough of those that have put them in this ballgame. Boy, is he getting the time.
Nobody open. The coverage outstanding by the Montini backfield, and Fred Bogard is there for the sack. A coverage sack there.
Coverage sack there. Dylan Thompson gets in on it at 6'6", 260. Good shot right there of Fred Bogard. Thompson. They've got a tough defensive front four between Kennedy, Thompson, Ruano, and Bogard.
I mean, this is a Montini defense that allowed 37 points against Palatine, 49 to Marion Central.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty.
I'd probably think that something like that could be a possible taunting or whatever, but you can see right there's a little good shot at Thompson and Bogard. But by having a tough front four like that, that really frees up your linebackers to help in run support, but also in pass coverage, because you can rely on that defensive front to put pressure on the quarterback.
Cinnamon, the transfer from Streeter, back to throw. Forced out of the pocket again. He's going to have to keep it himself. Nobody open, and he crosses midfield. And that might be only the second time this game that Morris has been across midfield, going back to their first drive on the long run by Sobel.
Well, the difficult part there for Cinnamon is he's scrambling out of there. He tucks the ball immediately. Well, when he does that, that brings up the secondary. Watch the tuck right in there. Now the secondary is going to start rolling up because they know now he's no threat to throw the ball. If he runs with the ball a little bit more, even if it gets to and past the line of scrimmage, that'll keep the secondary playing softer and not allow them to come racing up to make some plays. But now they're looking at 2nd and 5 at midfield, someplace they haven't been all day.
Cinnamon had a 56-yard touchdown run against Sacred Heart Griffin. He tucks it under again. He's got some room to maneuver here down to about the 36-yard line. That's a pickup of 12 for Zach Cinnamon, so they've found a little bit of something to work here, a little ad-libbing when the coverage has been good for Montini. Cinnamon's been able to make something happen with his feet.
Well, and part of that is that front four is putting pressure on him, and there's good coverage downfield, but with 5:20 left in the clock and 19 down, this is not Morris's forte.
Cinnamon's pass in and out of the hands of Danny Friend, incomplete, and our good friend and statistician Dave Bergson tells us this is the 3rd time that Morris has been across the 50 this game.
Well, again, here's pressure, and what's good is that he's dumping on just a drag route right across underneath the line of scrimmage and between the linebackers. But Montini has such faith in their front four as far as the pass rush. Their linebacker, they haven't stunted the entire day. The linebackers drop right into coverage immediately if pass shows, and/or they're allowed to scrape on run. So that front four has done a great job for Montini the entire afternoon.
Cinnamon looking down the middle, has a man. It's complete. And that was Munson. Anthony Munson, one of the receivers, with the catch.
Now, we talked about him in the open, and this is the first opportunity we get a chance to talk about. We talked about him being the free man. You can see him get right behind the linebacker there and then get in that dead spot and try and cut back. He's 6'1", 205. He's their go-to guy when they're throwing the football.
Here's Jeff Perry still on his feet. Boy, great second effort down inside the 10-yard line, down to the 8.
Now, that's the type of running that Morris is used to by their running backs in the way that they punish tacklers. Clock's going to continue to run with 4:50. This will be good for Morris to get the ball in the end zone. It's always good for a high school football player and team not to be shut out in the state championship game. And I've done a lot of them, and I don't really care one way or another who wins, but I just don't like to see anybody shut out.
Well, the question comes then, if people might wonder, well, where has this been all game for Morris?
Well, there's a lot of, for example, right here, you can see the pressure right here as far as throwing the football, but Morris is doing something they're not used to doing. Right now, they're playing ad-lib football. They're playing off the cuff. This is not what they do normally. They haven't done this for the last 13 games. This is what they've done right here. Full house tee, power football.
Ooh, Harry, that right at the line of scrimmage. We could hear that hit all the way here upstairs.
And that was a non-block Mike Madico right here. You can see he's playing corner. He closes it down right there. Because of the formation, he didn't have any responsibilities in the secondary. He's a 5'10", 185-pound junior corner. He just closed down and made the tackle.
Third down.
Nice job.
Cinnamon to throw. Looking into the end zone, knocked down and well defended there by Montini.
He was going to Danny Friend.
Ryan Starbeck on the coverage.
That was just a one-man route. And so by one-man route, that put 2 to 3 defenders on him. They know that Danny Friend is the big target right here. You can see the defenders right there. Now, granted, he's a 6'5" target, but it's tough when you've got 2 to 3 defenders on you. Well, we got 4th and goal from the 6.
The Redskins will go for it, down 19-0. Cinnamon in the shotgun. And here come the Broncos. And we are back in Champaign. Montini leading 19-0. Time running out here in the 4th quarter as they go for their 4th straight state championship. Our KFC player of the game, Dimitri Taylor, 156 yards rushing and a touchdown. 2 catches, 62 yards and a touchdown.
He set the tempo right off the bat, the very first play for Montini from the line of scrimmage. And then he just can show his versatility coming out of the backfield, right down the middle of the field. Then it's watch me run with the football. This is what he does, and he does it extremely well.
Chris Andriano says Dimitri Taylor packs a wallop, but he is so elusive, he didn't really have to hit anybody. Under 4 minutes to go now. Georgianis will keep it. He's getting out to first down yardage, steps out just past the marker.
That's not what Chris wants him to do. He wants him to get to the marker and stay in bounds.
And in keeping with that theme of close calls we were talking about, Jack, it started in week 1, a 40-37 overtime win against Palatine. Week 8, they beat Aurora Christian 31-27. That Sycamore overtime or game went to the last second. They won on a last-second field goal. In JCA, they were down 14 with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. it has been a theme all season long as Taylor takes it out to the 36-yard line, but that has really toughened and steeled this team against just about everything this year.
Well, it really has, and of course, you know, Morris had a great season, obviously, to get to this point also, and they just run up against some bad luck today. Morris is an excellent football team, but field position has been, you know, we can be so redundant talking about that, but if we were to replay this game every single time that they've had the football, they've been in their own territory. They just haven't had a good opportunity, and the scoreboard has indicated that.
Taylor with the carry here as the Broncos will work a little clock as we approach the 3-minute mark.
Some great football games coming up with some outstanding football teams.
Taylor the carry as he adds to his total. Montini will kick it away here with 2:09 to play and a 19-0 lead. Fair catch called for and made.
You always want to take them out of their comfort zone, whoever you're playing. That's part of a game plan. One of the initial parts, take them out of their comfort zone. And that's exactly what Montini did.
Here's the give to Perry. Again, we mentioned he's headed to Central Michigan on scholarship. And you know, they talk about that Morris tradition, and Jeff Perry said, since I was a little guy watching the 05 and 07 teams come to state, this was my dream. Made it to state. They're not going to take home a state championship trophy. They're going to take home second place, but that's still quite an accomplishment and adding to that Morris tradition.
Well, for these kids that are down in this field and in uniform for both teams, nice run.
Down inside the 40 and steps out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
This is what memories are made of. You know, there's a lot of different things you can talk about, but playing in a state championship game is something you'll remember the rest of your life. Here's just a great job of scrambling right here and cutting back against the grain and having enough idea here to get out of bounds, stop the clock. Again, decent field position with 1:30 left. They get a chance to get on the board.
24-yard pickup for Cinnamon. What a job he's done coming in. You know, you talk about Alex Wills coming in as a transfer. Same deal for Zach Cinnamon. He had 2 touchdowns in the upset win over Minooka in week 1. They knew they had a guy that was going to lead them all year long. He had 2 touchdowns in the game overtime win against Washington. So some key plays for him along the road to Champaign.
Well, and the backgrounds are a little different. Obviously, you mentioned coming from Streeter where they hadn't won, but from Wills coming from Wheaton South, but said all they did is win.
Right.
And there's their motto. Every time they put their hands in the air after a break or coming out of a huddle, that's what they said was for Pete. And that is something that they've been able to accomplish.
Cinnamon's throw complete to Perry. He's inside the 20 now.
He's going to go. He's going to break that shutout. There
it is. Morris on the board in the final minute. 33 yards. Cinnamon to Jeff Perry on the touchdown.
Good for Morris. Never give up, never quit. That's high school football at its finest right there. Kids that come down, they don't look at the scoreboard. We want to get in the end zone. We want to do the best they can. Just a middle screen right here, dumps it over the top. You can see right here, he just does a nice job of running. Not showing great speed, but doing a good job of getting behind his people downfield and gets into the end zone. This is a big score for Morris.
Perry, 7 rushing touchdowns on the year coming into the game.
Go for 2 here. Crossing route. You got it? No. And the kids always remember who the coach was, but the coach always remembers the type of players that got him there.
Not to mention all those assistant coaches who go day after day.
It is, as you mentioned, it's a year-round, I don't want to say job in high school, but, you know, kids have to pay the price to get to this level. And to be able to hoist that trophy up over their head. Congratulations to Morris for a tremendous season. And for Montini, bringing that motto come through for Chris Andriano right there. Great season for both football teams.
Tough day for Morris. They were faced with a long field all day long. Awful field position, and Montini really set the stage on that first play, the Dimitri Taylor touchdown run from 74 yards out. Montini led all the way as they pick up their 4th straight state championship for Chris Andriano and the Montini Broncos. Let's go downstairs to Sophia.
Coach Chris Andriano, congratulations. You were worried about a slow start, so how big was Taylor's opening touchdown?
Well, DT really got us off to the start that we were hoping for, and of course, when you play a physical team like a Morris, you need to make sure you get some things established up front right away. So I was happy that our lines on both sides of the ball, I thought, played really well early. And I thought that was pretty much a big key, you know, that we needed to make sure that we could control the ball, and we got a couple of big plays out of DTs. It was a great effort from our kids. Defensively,
you allowed Morris to cross midfield just 3 times. What can you say about their effort?
Wow, I didn't realize that, but I knew that we were playing a good game. Our defense has been bend and not break. Well, we didn't even bend today. Our kids were awesome today. Great game plan by our defensive coaches. Our D coordinator, Mike Bukowski, always does a great job. And, you know, our kids on the defensive side of the ball, sometimes I think they take a little heat because the offense gets all of our credit. But those kids played a great game today. That was an awesome display defensively.
Coach, congratulations. The 4-peat is complete for Montini. Matt, over to you.
All right, Sophia, and for Dimitri Taylor, you know, you're here last year, 200 yards. Nobody even noticed because they put 70 on. Coach said that people really don't know how good you are. Do they know now?
Yeah, I believe people now know my true abilities, and I've also known that all my life, and I guess they now know too.
Tell me about that catch and run that you had in the second quarter, a nifty spin move to get to the end zone.
Well, I knew I had to catch the ball and do what I had to do, and I seen that they had a linebacker on me, and I truthfully believe that no linebacker in state can keep up with the speed that I have, and I knew that I was going to be successful with it.
You get another state championship, and you've been a part of a couple of these. Can you describe the meaning of Montini's legacy now with the state football in Illinois?
I believe we finally made a statement out there to everybody in Illinois, and I believe that we're all out there on top and nobody can bring us back down.
All right, Dimitri Taylor, another big day here on this field, guys. Send it back to you.
All right, Matt Rodewald, thank you very much. Yeah, what a great day. 165 yards rushing. Dimitri Taylor leading the way for Montini as they win their 4th straight state title.